This video is for changing the oil on a 2005 Centurion Lightning C4 with the Black Scorpion 330 horsepower 5.7 liter V8 made by Mercruiser or Mercury. So to get underway, some of the essential tools that you will need are a funnel for your oil, as well as brake parts cleaner. It never hurts to have. You do need 6 quarts of 25W40 marine oil, which we have here. You need the appropriate oil filter wrench. I also have an LED light to make things a little bit easier to see. And we also have some degreaser cleaner, shop towels or paper towels, the new oil filter, some mineral spirits, again, for cleaning things up. You also have a fake-a-lake, kind of looks like a plunger, and then the oil extractor. And I have a West Marine oil extractor that has a specific attachment to be able to extract the oil from the dipstick tube on the engine. We need to go ahead and get this engine up to temperature, so that way the oil is a little bit easier to extract. So on the bottom side of the engine, you will see the water intake for the engine. So let's go ahead and add the fake-a-lake to the water intake. Just make sure it's at the proper height, so then that way it's not going anywhere, and go ahead and get water flowing to it. Now that we have water flowing to it, you'll see that we have water coming out of it, and that's completely fine. It's time to start the engine. Let the engine do its startup procedure real quickly and let her rip. So now that the engine is getting warmed up, you want to confirm that water is still flowing through the engine, that the fake-a-lake didn't come off in any way, shape, or form. And one way to do that is to check the exhaust outlets on the back side of the engine. You'll see water coming out of them. According to the manual, it is 5.5 quarts of engine oil with the filter. It is also important to make sure that the boat is level when you go to change the oil. So for this boat in particular, I know that if I use my phone on the side of the gunwale, that it sits at 3.5 degrees. So you want to kind of replicate that, and you want to also make sure that the engine is even side to side. That is another important feature. We have our extractor hooked up to the engine. I'm only using the main piece combined with the one tube that actually has the dipstick attachment to it. And so you can see I have the dipstick pulled out, and then there is a threaded nipple that you will be able to thread onto. So now it's time to go ahead and get some oil out of this engine. We're going to go ahead and create some pressure. So just go ahead and start pumping, probably maybe 20 pumps or so. And we're just going to give it time until it runs out. And while we are extracting the oil, it's never a bad idea to already start thinking about the oil filter. And on this particular boat, we do have some side panels that we need to remove in order to access the oil filter. Now that we've finished extracting as much oil as we possibly can, we can go ahead and remove the extractor and put the dipstick back in. So here is the oil filter, and I'm not gonna lie, it is in the worst possible location. This boat did not come with a remote filter. This filter is located in the starboard side of the boat on the front side of the engine, meaning the side closest to the actual cockpit of the boat. You are probably going to need to maneuver some lines, either water lines, out of the way to be able to get your oil filter wrench around the filter, and also be able to maneuver the filter out of there. And this is the oil filter wrench that I think works the best for this particular use case. I also highly recommend using as many paper towels as possible, as well as a plastic bag to put around the oil filter, so that way you can catch as much oil as you possibly can. And we were able to get the oil filter off pretty easily. Did get a little bit of a mess, so again, you're going to want to clean up inside the bilge. Go ahead and take your finger, use some of the oil, and go ahead and put that around the new oil filter seal. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add in the remaining oil into the engine. So you're going to go ahead and take off the oil fill cap on the engine, use this funnel, and go ahead and at least add 5 quarts of oil, and then you can then check oil levels from there. So we've got the engine running, and all we're doing now is just checking for any leaks or any problems, making sure everything's good. And you can see right here that the oil pressure is right in the middle, and that's exactly where you want it to be. That's a good thing at idle. So we've turned off the engine, we let it sit for another 5 minutes or so, and this is the dipstick that we pulled out. Go ahead and clean it off, and this is where you're going to check your levels now and make sure that it's in the okay range. If it's in the okay range, then great job, you're done.